All right, it's time to get this trunk where it'll fit. And if this trunk doesn't fit on this Model A, by the end of this video, then you guys are gonna be watching nothing but reruns of Phillips Hot Rod Garage. Welcome back to Phillips Hot Rod Garage. All right, so I can't really go any further on the subrail install until I get the trunk to fit. The reason why is I gotta square this opening up, add some more bracing in here so I can cut these braces out of the way. These braces are now in the way of doing the final fitment on the subrails, so I gotta move this stuff out of the way. But when I cut this stuff loose, everything's gonna try to move around, so I'm gonna have to add some more bracing in here. So what I'm gonna do this week in this video is I'm gonna go ahead and do some measuring, shift some stuff around, cut some tacks loose, try to get this thing squared up, try to get it to fit right. The trunk's really the only thing I got left to fit on the car anyway. The rear body panel, rear cross member, and the rear quarter panels all fit real nicely together now. The doors and the quarters fit, the door openings are squared, everything on the cowl's done. So really the trunk's all that's left. And I believe once I get the trunk opening squared up, I got this thing whipped after that, and I think it's gonna be smooth sailing from then on. All right, so I'm gonna measure some stuff, write some stuff down here, get some measurements from where I started. That way I'll know how far I moved it. And if I need to put it back, I'll know where I was at in the beginning. That is 18 9/16. Okay, now for the driver's side. $18 1/4. All right, so down here at the bottom, we've got 17 3/4 on the passenger side, 17 13/16 on the driver's side. That is 1/16 difference. It's not enough to worry about. All right, so let's get this roof panel out of the way. Got a zip tie holding it on. All right, now we can cut some tacks loose. All right, I need to get a mark right here in the center of this panel. That is 36 3/4. All right, what's half of that? Half of 30 is 15, half of 6 is 3, so that'd be 18. Half of 3/4 is 3/8, so that'd be 18 3/8. That should get us just what we need to be sitting at. 18 3/8. Let's verify the measurement. 18 3/8 there. 18 3/8 there. That'll be perfect. Now, I got something to line my laser up with right there. All right, I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this. I don't know if you can see this line very well or not, but let me show you something. Hopefully you can see it. I'm gonna just pick up on this tubing or this angle iron just a little bit and watch that whole top up there. Look at it move. So I'm not really moving the bottom down here, but I can just pick up on this corner. The bottom will pretty much stay where it is, and the top will move over. And it moves a bunch. That's why you have to brace everything up. That marker line on that rusty surface is barely visible, so I'm gonna put a piece of tape on there and mark it again, just like that. Now I can see what I'm doing. All right, so down here at the bottom, we're pretty close to the line, real close to where we were before, but at the top, we're not even close. So we're gonna have to move that top, and then hopefully that'll get the trunk fitment going in the right direction. All right, let's see where we're at. Well, that got us in the ballpark, so let's check the trunk and see how it's gonna fit. All right, so we're definitely headed in the right direction. The crack's getting a whole lot better down the driver's side. If you look across the top, you can see that's lined up pretty good. So I think we can shift this over just a little bit, which looking at the laser, the line, it shows that it needs to go over some. And I think that'll take care of that problem. This could just wreck everything. We'll see what happens. Let's see how that looks. Well, we are headed in the right direction. Our line is lined up here and up here. The gaps are fair. They're in the ballpark, but we can do better. But I got a little issue right here that I got to deal with now. All right, so the way I'm going about using this piece of angle iron to push the back end of this car over is actually messing up the alignment of the rear cross member and the rear quarter panel. I don't have any way of bolting these panels back together currently because everything down here is cut off and rusty, so I just have them clamped together. But the problem is the clamps aren't strong enough to hold it, so I got to figure out something to do right here. All right, so as much as I hate to, I'm gonna have to let the pressure back off. Oh, that moved a bunch. That moved a bunch. All right, I think I'm gonna go with that right there. All right, so if I just put these clamps back on here, it's lined up good, but it's not gonna stay there when I put pressure on it. So what I'm gonna do, instead of clamping it, I'm gonna cut out a piece of metal to fit up in here. I'm gonna weld it to the wheel well, and I'm gonna bolt it through the rear cross member. That should hold all this together when I put pressure on it and keep this stuff from moving around. So that's my plan. It's the wrong grinder. Gotta have some ear protection. All right, that looks pretty good. I'll be able to put 2 bolts here, weld it here. That'll keep all this from moving around. So I'm gonna take this to the other side and see if it'll fit over there. All right, yeah, that'll work. I can weld it here, put 2 bolts here. I may have to add a piece in here, just something temporary if it tries to move around on me, but I think it'll work just fine like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and make another piece like this for this side. All right, got them marked. All right, I'm just gonna drill both of these at the same time. I don't see any reason why it won't line up on both sides exactly the same, so just gonna go ahead and drill them both at the same time. Build a Model A, they said. It'll be fun. Well, it is fun until your trunk doesn't fit. All right, let's see if we can get this thing bolted up here. Got my holes a little tight there. That won't hurt anything. Put some nuts on there. All right, it's time to get this thing welded. All right, so I guess that's gonna work out good. It looks like it will, so I'm gonna go ahead and go do the other side. All right, so that was really thin right there. Really rusted thin, so took a little bit to get that welded up. Kept blowing out on me, but I got it. All right, so now that those pieces are welded on, let's see where we're at here. It's got to come over to the passenger side. The top's got to go over to the driver's side. So let's put some pressure on it and see what happens. All right, that's got the top, so now let's put some pressure back on the bottom again. All right, so let's move it. Let's look at it. All right, well, I'm not even going to show you that. It's nowhere near enough. Let's do it again. Let's look at that now. Yeah, we got to go some more. All right, things are getting better. We're getting pretty good here at the bottom. The driver's side crack is getting better, but at the top, we need to move over to the driver's side just a little bit. All right, well, that's the best it's looked so far. I need to do something about this gap right here. The way this quarter panel is broke loose right here, the quarter's out too far. I'm gonna try to pull it in a little bit. Looks a lot better. All right, let's try the trunk again. Well, now the strap is in my way. All right, I told you guys I was gonna make it fit. Down here at the bottom, I tighten that crack up real good. Gets wider in the middle, pretty tight at the top. Now let's look across the top of it. It looks pretty good across there. Now on the passenger side, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. All right, so the problem I have now is it's too wide in the middle on both sides. Passenger side, same way. So I'm gonna get another strap, put a little pressure in the middle. Well, this is a two-person job with one man doing it. All right, I'm gonna see how that looks. Well, that's not gonna work. That strap is in the way. But it looks like I'm getting somewhere with that. So what I'm gonna have to do, put a little bit more pressure on it, and I'm gonna just tack a piece of tubing across the opening to hold it where I want it to be so I can get the strap out of the way. The problem is these hooks right here. If I put a piece of tubing under the bottom, it won't be in the way. So I'm gonna do that. All right, so 37 inches. I'm gonna cut two pieces, 37. I welded that a little bit more than a normal tack because I'm putting so much pressure on the back of this car that I don't want the tack to break, so I welded that pretty good. All right, we're gonna see how it looks. Well, I think that's looking pretty good. The passenger side's looking the best I've seen it. The driver's side, we've got it tight at the bottom now, which is the first time I've seen that crack be tight at the bottom. The middle looks good. Top looks good. I'm a little bit off on my line here. I think I need to relieve some of that pressure off that angle iron and widen that back out a little bit. All right, so hopefully I can relieve some pressure and not just completely wreck all of my progress. Hopefully. All right, so look at that. All right, I'm not even going to show that to you guys because that was not enough. Just going to go a little more with it. Let's take a look at that. All right, well, that's a whole lot better. Just about lined up with my line down here now. But it looks like I need to let some pressure off the top also. All right, I just eased a little bit off of that. All right, so that helped it at the top. The bottom still needs to come over just a little bit. I have no more pressure on that tubing. That's a good sign. I think I'm gonna take some more pressure off of this. Everything is looking really good. All right, all the pressure's off that. I told you guys it was gonna fit. I knew we were gonna get it. All right, let's turn this laser off. Don't need it anymore. Check this out. How does that look? About as close as I'm gonna be able to get it. And look at the driver's side. Across the top. All right, so the only problem I have left is down here at the bottom. The rear body panel and the trunk are not fitting too well together. Now the issue may have to do with the trunk itself. You can see right here that the trunk is lower. Let me get where you can see it right here. See, the trunk is lower than the quarter right there in that area. Pretty flush at the top. And then it gets flush again here, and then it sticks out from the quarter here. So what that tells me is that the trunk and the quarter are not the same shape. So I may have to come in here and put some more curve into the trunk right here. It is bent right here, so it could be damaged. I just may have to reshape it a little bit. That may take care of it because it's overlapping the rear body panel right here. So as far as having the rear clip of the car squared up, I think that's pretty good. I think that's real good, actually. And what's amazing about it is the only brace I actually have in the car is that one piece of tubing that I welded across here. So that was the key to getting all of this squared up. Once I got the quarter panels pulled together at the top and got them braced across here so they weren't sagging anymore, then that held everything in shape. I let off the pressure from the top, I let off the pressure from the bottom, and everything's lined up pretty nice. All I got to do now is get some work done on this trunk, try to get it shaped a little bit better. Now I did stick the other trunk on that I took off the car, off camera, and it fit a whole lot better than this one as far as the shape right here. But it's so rusty that I can't repair it. So this one is going to get some work in this area. The other side of it fits pretty good. It's nowhere near as bad as this. It's just the driver's side of it doesn't fit right. You know, the quarter panel could be raised up right here a little, like the back of the car right here could be pushed in some, which would push this up and make it not be shaped the same as the trunk. So I may end up having to move the trunk a little and push the back of the car out a little. I don't know yet. I'm just gonna have to do some measuring and see. But the one thing that I always have to keep in mind about this car is that this section right here got really hot. You can see it just by looking at it, that this part got burned when my shop burned down and the car was sitting right in front of the shop. So this was really hot, and the fire department sprayed the car down with water to keep me from losing it. And so I know this was hot, and then it got hit with water. So it probably drew it a little bit, and that may be why I'm having so much trouble getting it. Let me rephrase that. That may be why I had so much trouble getting it squared up, because we got it now. And I'm glad too. But anyway, they put the car out because it was on fire. This car got so hot back here on the back that when they hit the windshield with water with the fire hose, that windshield was so hot that it shattered when that cold water hit it. So the car got really hot on the back here. Didn't get hot enough to melt the paint off the front, but it did get hot enough to break that windshield. So I'm fortunate that I didn't lose the car in the fire. Very fortunate. But I'm glad this is done. But we're fixing to be down to
sheet metal work pretty soon. It won't be long.
Hey, that was a good video. But do you guys know what the best part is about having that trunk squared up, getting all that work done this week? Now I can move on to something else, and you guys won't have to watch reruns next week.
So thanks for leaving comments. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.